Right, good morning. Oh, I've had a right pig of a morning this morning, as you can see. Let's get this off, A right pig of a morning. Another daft video from Dave. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully this could be another entertaining little number for you. I'm doing this for a group on Facebook called Unearthed. A lad called Graham Rushton's asked me to do this, so I'm going to do it. It's about what the definition of treasure is and what you should do if you find anything of significant value, any sort of treasure at all, how you go about reporting it, etc. But first, might as well do my little bit first. Right, there's been a bit of controversy about these footpaths, because I did a video on a footpath, never had the detector, you've been through all this before. But look what I found. I found something now about the National Trust. Now, I didn't know this, but metal detecting on National Trust land, right? Now, I know there's lads in there, that this includes the Yorkshire Dales, Cumbria, most of Cumbria, it's like, I don't know, 75% National Trust now. But you've got to be careful, lads, because metal detecting on National Trust land. Metal detecting is generally not permitted on National Trust land unless under exceptional circumstances and only ever under a licence agreement. Licence agreements will only be issued by National Trust archaeologists where metal detecting can help further archaeological knowledge of protected archaeological remains. Unauthorised metal detecting contravenes National Trust bylaws and is a criminal offence on scheduled monuments. All finds, with the exception of treasure, remain the property of the National Trust. So, that to me sounds like we can't go on National Trust land. But let me just read a little bit more of this. Why can't I metal detect on National Trust land? The National Trust recognises that metal detecting is a popular and growing hobby that can help increase our understanding of the past. We are keen to find ways of working closely with metal detecting clubs and societies that can help interpret and protect our properties for future generations. However, we cannot allow unauthorised or unsupervised metal detecting on our land, even where it's under the plough. So that's even ploughed land, lads. Anything on National Trust land is a no-go, according to this. So that is sort of knackered things up a little bit. Because I had a few ideas of going myself up the lakes, like, but no. What is a licence agreement? This is a written agreement between the National Trust and the metal detectorists that will allow access under special conditions. You are unlikely to receive a licence agreement unless you are able to show full commitment to its terms and conditions. So we might get one, it depends how we go about it. I reckon if we're in a club and we go and we come across the National Trust as a club.
Well, here I am back in the Catfield. I've just been up doing a Viking settlement up the Dales, coming past that. Nah, I haven't finished there yet, so
you might have a better chance, but I can't see it, guys. Oh dear me. Only National Trust archaeologists can issue a licence agreement. Contact your nearest property or regional office for details. National Trust property staff, tenants and farmers are not authorised to give permission to metal detect on Trust land. Right, so all the lads in the Lake District, Yorkshire Dales, you know, National Trust or National Heritage, anything like that, you can't go on it, lads. It doesn't matter if you've asked the farmer for permission to do that footpath. Make sure that you're following the law. Make sure that it's not National Trust land. Do you know what I mean? It's mainly, I think it'll be because as well that you're digging up wildlife. You know, you're digging up plants. Some of them might be rare, so you find something in the ground, you're going to dig it up. It could be a really rare one-off plant and you've killed it. So, so there you go. So all my mates that are out there doing National Trust land, be very careful. And I know one or two and one or two people that have been on to me about footpaths. There's an answer for that one. That's bad. Right, now back to this. I'm doing this for little Graham. He asked me to do this for the Unearthed, right? And it is what's classed as treasure, how do I go about reporting it, and the likes, right? I found this on the pass, right? I went through all the treasure acts and I thought, geez, it's going to take me about 3 years to get through all that. So, you know, to put it on video, that is, it'll be about 20 parts. So I had a look round and I thought, well, the pass website. So I went onto the pass website and they've got a knocked down version of it. I'll put the link on the bottom or at the back or wherever. I'll put a little bit of footage behind me about one of my mates who I know has been detecting footpaths, but he's been doing it on National Trust land. You know what I mean? I'll stick the evidence up there, but he's got to be careful. He's going to be in trouble, you know. But if the cap fits, wear it. That's what he says. If the cap fits. So, but he's never talked about me neither. Anyway, right. The Treasure Act 1996. Under the Treasure Act 1996, there is a legal obligation to report all finds of treasure, right? And this leaflet recommends the right footsteps for doing that, right? What object qualifies as treasure, right? Now, a lot of people seem to get mixed up with this one, but here we go. Hope this helps. The following finds are treasure under the Act. If found after 24th of September 1997, or in the case of Category 2, if found after the 1st of January 2003. Right. Number 1. Any metallic object other than a coin, provided that it's at least 10% in weight of metal, is precious metal. That is gold or silver. And I suppose platinum will come into that as well, because platinum's yeah. And that it's at least 300 years old when found. If the object is of prehistoric date, it will be treasure, provided any part is precious metal. So there you go. Any group of 2 or more metallic objects of any composition of prehistoric date that come from the same field. Number 3. All coins from the same find, provided that they are at least 300 years old and when found. But if the coins contain less than 10% of gold and silver, there must be at least 10 of them. Only the following groups of coins will normally be regarded as coming from the same find. And then there's bullet points. Hoards that have been deliberately hidden. Smaller groups of coins, such as contents of purses that may have been dropped or lost. Votive or ritual deposits. Right then. Number 4. Any object, whatever it is made of, that is part of the same find as another object, that is treasure. An object or coin is part of the same find as another object or coin, if it is found in the same place as, or had previously been together with, the other object. Finds may have become scattered since they were originally deposited in the ground. So, if you found 20 coins that were classed as treasure a year ago and you're on the same field, and in a different, just a little bit further on from that field, you find another 20 coins, they could be classed as the same part, the same hoard. So they will be the same treasure. So you're obviously going to have to report them anyway. Number 5. Any object that would previously have been treasure trove, but does not fall within the specific categories given above. Only objects that are less than 300 years old, that are made substantially of gold or silver, that have been deliberately hidden with the intention of recovery, and whose owners or heirs are unknown, they'll also come into this category. So, yeah, it's not really rocket science, guys, is it? Right, what objects do not qualify as treasure? Right. The following types of finds are not treasure. Objects whose owners can be traced. Medals, that's a good one, isn't it? I've seen a bloke giving a medal back to its original owner. It was on that hidden history, I think it is. It had his name around the medal and what have you, so the bloke who had found it contacted the family The original owner of the medal was died, of course, but it went back to the family, which is a good thing. Rings as well. Rings could have names and dates. They don't have addresses. Dog tags, not treasure, but they have. Yeah. Unworked natural objects, including human and animal remains, even if they are found in association with treasure. So if you find a load of bones next to a pot of gold, the bones aren't treasure. Objects from the foreshore, which are a wreck. That's a good thing then, isn't it? Sealed pieces of eight. Find any silver or gold that's come off a treasure wreck, that's not treasure by the sound of this. Single coins found on their own, well, we all do that, don't we, in the fields. Groups of coins lost by one over a period of time. Oh, sorry, groups of coins lost one by one over a period of time. So we all go in a field and we find like 30 coins of all different eras, don't we? From Victorian, Georgian, Hammer, anything Roman. So they're classed as not treasure because like the one-off drops. If you are in doubt, it is always safest to report your find. Your local finds liaison officer will be glad to record all archaeological objects that you find. Right, us being a club now with our find liaison officer, Dot Barton, that's ours. Now if you're in a club, find out who your find liaison officer, which you will do anyway because they usually come to the club meetings and you record all your finds. If you're an independent detectorist, go down to the museum and find out who your find liaison officer is and try and get a contact number for them and bang it in your mobile phone. So that if you do go out in the field and you do find something instantly that's of great significant value or even a hoard or whatever, and you think it needs reporting, you have got their phone number and you can get in touch with them straight away and they can come onto the scene and let you know. Right, here we go anyway. What should we do if we find something that may be treasure? You must report all finds of treasure to the coroner for the district in which the finds are made, either within 14 days of the day on which you made the find or within 14 days of the day on which you realise that the find might be treasure. For example, as a result of having it identified. The obligation to report finds applies to everyone, including archaeologists. So, from the day you find out that's treasure, or the day you found that treasure and you know it's treasure, you have 14 days to report it. How do I report a find of treasure? You may report your find to the coroner in person, by letter, telephone, fax or email. Your finds liaison officer will be able to help you do this. Finds made in one of the few areas in which a treasure franchise operates, the Duchies of Lancaster and Cornwall, the corporates of Bristol and London, should be reported to the coroner in the normal way. Right, so the main man in this that you have to contact is the coroner. But I must admit, when I found a Chinese hoard, I was lucky enough to stumble across a Chinese hoard of 100 and odd coins in it. But I got in touch with my finds liaison officer first, and she came down. She took the coins away, and then they went down to the British Museum. They got identified, etc., etc., etc. And obviously the coroner must have been informed of all this, as they weren't classed as treasure in the end. But I've also had a little gold Bronze Age piece that went to the coroner, and that went to inquest, and that was treasure, and we're getting a reward for that. They've arranged the award, etc., etc. But that was the process that I used when finding that. As soon as I found that, I honestly thought it was just a curtain rail. I didn't think it was. It just looked like aluminium, gold coloured aluminium to me. So what I did with it, luckily enough, the following week, about 4 or 5 days later, they had our find liaison officer who was coming down to the Dock Museum. So I brought this down with me with a few of the coins that I'd found, and she had a look at it, and she didn't really know neither. Anyway, sent it off for analysis, British Museum. Yes, it's gold, yes, it's Bronze Age, yes, it's 3,000 years old. And then it went to an inquest at our local coroner, Barrow. And he said it was treasure trove, and now it's gone through the valuation process. The Dock Museum want to buy it, so that's the end of that. I had to inform the landowner, I had to tell him, the fine liaison officer, and the fine liaison officer had sent me some treasure forms that I had to fill out, and these went to the coroner, where it was found, who the landowner is, etc, etc. So, right, back to this. Where will I have to take my find? Your local fines liaison officer is normally the main point of contact for treasure fines, which is what I did. Details of your local fines liaison officer can be found at www.fines.org.uk. Right, and I'll put that link across across the bottom or in the description. And there's a phone number as well. Right, upon depositing the fine, you will be given a receipt. That's why I got. That's just proof that you've given that in. If they lose it, that's down to them. Then you've got it. It'll be insured and everything. You will need to provide information about exactly where you made the fine spot. So a grid reference, GPS, anything like that. Use your phones, GPS on your phone, anything where you found it. Or the equivalent of a 6-figure national grid reference, 100 metres square. In official dealings, the parish or 4-figure national grid reference, 1 kilometre square, will be used, whilst a more general location description may be used for particularly sensitive fines. It is strongly recommended that you and the landowner should keep the fine site location confidential. Obviously the reason for this is to stop other people going on night hawkers, etc, etc. Right, what if I do not report a find of treasure? This will be important, so listen. The penalty for not reporting a find that you believe, or there is good evidence for believing, to be treasure without a reasonable excuse is imprisonment for up to 3 months and a fine of up to 5,000. That's level 5 in brackets, I don't know what that means. Or both. You will not be breaking the law if you do not report a fine because you did not first recognise that this may be treasure. But you should report it once you realise that it is treasure. So that's a hefty fine, guys. That's £5,000 fine. And what was it? 3 months imprisonment. Wow, just for not reporting it. So I'd get out there and report it, wouldn't you? Right then. What happens if the find is not treasure? If the find is not treasure, the coroner will be informed and the find would normally be returned to you without the holding of an inquest. Right, there was a Roman cavalry mask, right, bronze. It was in about 60 odd bits. Anyway, the lads that have found it, they found it up near Cosby Garrett, found it up that way. And it was all in bits. Anyway, they put it all together, because it wasn't treasure, they handed it back. So they got it fixed up, they fixed it. Got it all, it looked brilliant. Anyway, this helmet went to auction and it went for 2-point-something million pounds. Do you know what I mean? And that wasn't classed as treasure. What about that then? Because it was bronze and it was in so many bits. But because they got it fixed up and sold it, 2-point-something million between them. Wow. So sometimes it's best not to find gold and silver, I think, isn't it? What happens if the find is treasure? If the institution or individual receiving the find on behalf of the coroner believes that the find may be treasure, they will inform the British Museum or the National Museum Wales. By the way, these are England and Wales Treasure Act. I don't know the Treasure Act for Scotland. I'll have to go through that one. I'll have to find that and see what the differences are, because probably there'll be a few differences. So the guys that are watching this that are in Scotland, you're going to have to have a look and see what your laws are, because at the moment I don't know the difference, which is a bit bad really. I should do, because I'm thinking of going up into Scotland and having a bash at metal detecting up there. Let's have a look now. If no museum wishes to acquire the item, the Secretary of State will disclaim it. When this happens, the coroner will notify the landowner that the object is to be returned to you after 28 days, unless the landowner objects. If the landowner objects, the coroner will retain the fine until you and the landowner have resolved any dispute. So there's been a couple of them as well where the valuations have been a bit way off. You know, something Saxon's come up, and it's been come to auction before the Treasure Act came into place, and it's gone for like £50,000, and then the valuation squad have had a look at a very similar item and they put £3 on it. Maybe not as low as that. That's just an example, you know. So yeah, so they've gone into dispute then. The landowner and the detectorists have gone into dispute against the valuation committee, who will then have to re-look at it and come back with another value. But you have to, if you do that, you need evidence that this particular item has been seen once before, found somewhere else, and it's gone for such and such a price. So records from auction houses and things like that to back up your argument, that sort of thing. What if a museum wants to acquire my find? The coroner will hold an inquest to decide whether the find is treasure. If the find is declared to be treasure, then it will be taken to the British Museum so that a valuation can be recommended by the Treasure Valuation Committee. This amount is what a museum will pay to acquire the find. However, the Department of Culture, Media and Sport wishes to encourage finders and landowners to consider donating their finds, therefore waiving their rights to this financial reward. Right, well, we had, like I said, these Chinese coins. Now, they came back to us. They're not treasure, and they were worth about £300 or £400, I think. In the end, when we got them individually valued, there was that many of them. Even if £3 or £4 a piece each coin, it's like £300 or £400 for the amount of coins that were there. So we had a word with the farmer. I personally couldn't be bothered going through all the hassle of going down the auction house. Then and the worst thing is, if someone from away bought this hoard, it's gone forever, and it's in someone else's collection, and I want our locals to see it. So we come up with an agreement that we donate this hoard to the Dock Museum, and that hoard now will be in the Dock Museum for them to do what they want with. You know what I mean? We donated that to let other people see it. We want other people to see what we're finding. We're not all rogues. I mean, I know there's one or two that don't even show the farmers what they found, which is, I don't think that's right myself. And yet there's other lads that are absolutely fantastic. They make up display cases and they put all Roman coins and that in, and they give them to the farmers. Well, good set of lads. Brilliant. That's what the hobby's all about. Excuse me, still got a bit of a cold here. Right then. And give certificates to all those who do. Oh, you get a certificate. We haven't had one. I haven't had a certificate for donating my stuff. This is no way where prejudices the rights of finders and landowners to claim a reward if they choose. Right. Here we go. How is fair market value for a treasure find arrived at? Now this will be good. The Treasure Valuation Committee, which consists of independent experts, values all finds that museums wish to acquire. The committee will commission a valuation from one or more experts drawn from the antiquities or coin trades. You, the landowner, and the acquiring museum will have the option to comment on this valuation or to send in a separate valuation for the committee to consider. The committee will inspect the find and arrive at a valuation. If you are then dissatisfied with the committee's recommendations, there are opportunities to appeal. If you are still dissatisfied, you can then appeal to the Secretary of State. So that's sort of self-explanatory, guys, isn't it? Right, what if the coroner or the National Museum loses or damages my find? They are required to take responsible steps to ensure that this does not happen, but if it does, you should be compensated. So I don't know how the compensation on that will work. You know what I mean? Because they're still going to have to value it and all that. And if the valuation's out, can you complain about the valuation of a lost item? I don't know. And I don't even know if anyone's actually done that one, but it would be nice to find out. I'll have to have a look around and see if that's ever happened. Who is eligible to receive a share of the reward? This is set out in detail in the Treasure Act Code of Practice. To summarise, the finder who has obtained permission to be on the land from its owner and acted in good faith, the landowner and the person who occupies that particular site as a tenant or the owner, unless this is precluded by the terms of a tenancy agreement. So if you find anything of great value, and then it's going to have to be split 3 ways if there's a landowner and a tenant. So you might have a tenant farmer on that land, but he's not the actual landowner. This is why when you're gaining permission, you have to find out who the landowner is. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes in the search agreements, they cut the tenant out. So actually only the landowner and you as the finder will get the reward, even though one of the final says on you getting permission to detect on someone's land is to obtain permission from all parties. Really, it's all right the landowner saying yes, but the actual tenant farmer might have a lot of young lambs and decent crops and things like that on there. He might not want you one. So right, who is not eligible to receive a share of the reward? An archaeologist who makes a treasure find. Now this is one of the reasons I think the archaeologists have a bee in a bonnet with us metal detectorists, because they find treasure and they get nothing out of it, or so except the thrill of finding it. So I think that's one of the biggest upsets with them and us. A finder or a landowner who has acted in bad faith and not in accordance with the Treasure Act code of practice, who expect a reduced share of the valuation or none at all. Right, so I know for definite there was a Viking horn found around here, and it was found illegally. It was actually found, the farmer had given the lads permission on one field, but they found it in another field across the way from the actual owners of who they granted them permission in the first place, so it wasn't on their land. And the people involved were kicking up fuss. The people who actually own the land were not happy at all and weren't going to do anything anyway. They donated their share of the hoard. The lad's got it in the end. He got his hoard, but obviously he's very, very lucky to do that. He might say otherwise, but I think, and he said he was done. He was done like in the valuation. Valuation wasn't as much as what they thought it should be. But always make sure you're on the right land, guys. If you find anything. Because if it gets taken off you, that's, at the end of the day, we're all searching for that one biggie, aren't we? It's life-changing. How long will it take before I receive my reward? The period between the find being received by the coroner or by the organisation to whom she has directed that the find be delivered, and the payment of an ex gratia reward should not be longer than 12 months, provided no challenges are made. Although it may be necessary to exceed this period in exceptional cases such as large hoards of coins or finds that present particular difficulties. Obviously, if there's lots of coins, if there's a hoard of 50,000 coins, they're going to have to go through each coin individually, and that's going to take time. It could take longer than 12 months. So after they've gone through each coin, then they'll go at the valuation, etc, etc. So, yeah, it's easy to work that one out. For further advice about treasure, finders are strongly advised to obtain a copy of the Treasure Act Code of Practice, which provides further information about the Act. I'll put the link for the Treasure Act underneath. I don't know if many of you will, but the one on the pass is better because it's like a condensed version, the do's and the don'ts. Do you know what I mean? The main Treasure Act, as you can imagine, is 100 and odd pages long. It's a lot of reading, and I know a lot of people don't like doing a lot of reading like that. Including guidance on the payment of rewards and advice on the care of fines, and has lists of useful contact addresses. This can be downloaded from the Department of Culture, Media and Sports website, www.culture.gov.uk, or obtained from the British Museum Treasure Registrar. Your Fines Liaison Officer, see www.fines.org.uk, or through the National Council of Metal Detecting, or the Federation of Independent Detectorists. So there you go, that is more or less, in a nutshell, the Treasure Act condensed version that I got from the PASS site, which is the Portable Antiquities reporting of. So that's about it, really, for this part. I hope it's done them proud. But the next video I'll do on Portable Antiquities scheme. I've got a load of stuff from them, I've also got the treasure valuation process and what to go through there. I've got quite a lot to go through, guys, and I can't do it all in one video. But don't forget though, what the main thing here, we were all sort of discussing footpaths and places to detect. You know, you need permission for this, that and the other. National Trust land, National Heritage land, no-go areas, I'm afraid, at the moment. Yeah, so, not good at all, is it? Seeing that a lot of our potential sites are National Trust. Right, that's it for me, guys. I'm don't know what I've done with it now. I was going to pig out again then, but I've lost my mask. So that's what's going to happen next time, and don't forget to visit Unearthed on Facebook, and also the Furnace Metal Detecting Club. They've got a page on Facebook and a group if you want to come and display some of your finds, put some of your photos up, show us what you've been finding. And that's about it, folks. Alright, thanks very much. Bye for now.